Hello and welcome back to Green Money Momentum, where we talk about market movements, making money, and money momentum. I'm your host, Trevor, and we are here for Wednesday's daily talk of stock. And I hope that you all are having a wonderful Wednesday out there. Wednesday, many times, is referred to as Hump Day, and what a hump day it was in the markets. We saw a hump with how the markets started up very high in the morning, and we saw it come down that hump throughout the rest of the day. So a very up and down, volatile day within the markets, and we saw a lot of plays finish just slightly in the red or barely finish green. But the morning time for the markets was crazy, and that is because we have the numbers around the producer price index, so the PPI reports, and we actually saw that inflation came in lower than expected. But tomorrow we do have the numbers for the consumers when it comes to inflation, and these are arguably even more important because when it comes to fear, uncertainty, doubt, what most individuals look at, well, we are all consumers at the end of the day. So the inflation numbers around consumers are going to be big, and as I've been saying all week, I am proceeding in this week with caution. We just talked about this on Sunday. You could see the inflation reports here and then my reaction. So you could see how I felt there with the shocked face. I'm sure many investors felt that way today, and not to sound like a bear, but things could potentially get worse tomorrow. But we are in a choppy environment right now. So the Fed is going to cut next week on the 17th, and I personally believe that the markets will continue to rip up. So I believe that we're just seeing some consolidation, some sideways movement, because right now the direction is unclear in the short term. But with this next Fed cut coming, this is massive if we just zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because this is the beginning of a bigger cycle when it comes to quantitative easing. It's funny because the Fed tried to tighten up rates in the last couple years, and we could see that we didn't even get up to 5% on the Fed funds rate, and all the damage and wreckage and fear and everything that has happened to the economy. So we are in a situation where the debt is so high, consumers are so spent, we really need to have that interest rate lowered. And well, positive news, that is going to happen on the 17th. But the numbers with inflation tomorrow could greatly influence what the Fed does with their interest rate cut, how high the cut is. And so there could be some fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If the numbers do come in worse than expected, it could mean that we just have a 25-point basis cut instead of a 50. But it's going to be very interesting what comes out at this report. And so we're going to talk about a multitude of stocks today. We're going to start out with this stock here, Oracle. And I wanted to cover Oracle because, as we could see with the line here, Larry Ellison, so the CEO of Oracle, has now officially became the world's richest person. At least that is what they are telling us. We all know that there's a lot of wealth that is just not reported, but Larry Ellison, for reported wealth, is the number one individual in the world for that, officially passing Elon Musk. And that is because Oracle did have their earnings yesterday. They came out very positive. They also came out with positive guidance, and then the stock ripped up. So it's just absolutely insane what we're seeing with the markets, and so many opportunities for investors to become wealthy, because this blue chip company jumped by 35% today from last night's market into the pre-market into the entire day. Oracle just kept running at one point up 40% for the day, which is euphoric. And to see a blue chip company do that is absolutely insane. Now, there has been a massive gap up in Oracle. I do think that we could see a drop down possibly to fill the gap, but also with the markets and overall sentiment right now and the direction that we may be going with the Federal Reserve and what they are going to do, we may see this breakout continue in Oracle and the price may shoot higher. And this is on a short term if the gap is filled. Over the long term, Oracle should continue to see big gains, because right now we do have Donald J. Trump as the president, and we have seen Oracle at the White House a ton of of time. So they are close with the president, which is always massive if you're able to put your company in a position where you are benefiting from what the administration is doing. And so this was just huge for Oracle. It's crazy to see the underlying stock go up by 40%, because for all my leverage investors, or for all who love high risk, high reward, if you didn't know, there is a 2x ETF for Oracle, ORCX. And so this went up at one point by 80% today. We could see that it is still up by 70%. So these are just gifts that the market gives. And it's just, for anybody who has been involved in Oracle or the 2x play, absolutely euphoric. Congratulations to all. It's insane what we are seeing in the markets right now. Yesterday, we covered a stock that went up 2,000% in just one day, but that was really a pump and dump. To see this with a blue chip company is massive. And so talking about blue chip companies that have had a lot of great news, we're going to now hop into our second stock, which is Robinhood, which also finally hit our price target that we have been calling for the last month, which is $120. So woo, let's go Robinhood investors. That is so exciting for it to finally reach that price. Right now, it has dropped a bit to 117. So we did see Robinhood get all the way up to 123, but like the rest of the market, there was a bit of a sell-off. But to me, that is absolutely fine. I have positioned myself very well in Robinhood, and I am going to be holding for the long term because of everything this company has to offer. And they recently just had their big Hood Summit event. It's actually still going on right now. This is day 2 of it. But with what we have seen from yesterday and today, Robinhood is introducing a ton of new tools and officially bringing AI to the platform. So you can have your own little AI assistant. All you have to do is type in a little prompt and it will give you a bunch of great results, new indicators. It's called Robinhood Cortex. And so we're just going to read exactly what this says right here. And with custom indicators by Cortex, just tell Cortex what you want to see on your chart and it'll build a custom indicator for you with no manual scripting or coding required. This is absolutely insane what Robinhood is doing. This is introducing a ton of new tools for traders. And as I have said for a long time, we really are going into a society that is all about money, making money, and everybody being their own investor. And so now it is more important than ever to take control of your finances and be your own investor. And for anybody who is not taking advantage of all the tools in front of us, you really are missing on all the great opportunities, because we are in the information age. Everything is present in front of us. At one point, investors had to do their own calculations. There was no internet. And then when the internet did come, all the information still wasn't readily available. So we live in the greatest time when it comes to being an investor, and we can make our investment accounts true money printers, but we have to do our own due diligence. As I always say, good time to get the disclaimers out of the way. Remember, this is not financial advice, just financial entertainment. I always recommend doing your own due diligence before making any financial decisions, which I really do, because the more due diligence you do, the more you learn, the more you earn. And so Robinhood Cortex is going to help so much with that. There's going to be custom scans powered by this tool. And then also the other thing that is huge too, this makes me so happy. I feel that this is overdue, and congratulations to Robinhood for finally adding it to their platform, and that is short selling. So where you could finally short sell on stocks. This is huge. Webull and other platforms have already had short selling, but Robinhood has been behind on this. But now they are going to have short selling also. And this isn't the only big announcement they had at this event, but there is also going to be Robinhood Social. And just wow, it's just insane to see this, because with this, not only are you going to be able to communicate with other traders, it's going to show real-time trades, but you could also follow insiders, hedge funds, and politicians. And so many people want to follow Nancy Pelosi, and now you could follow directly from the Robinhood app. And so many tools in front of us. And with this is going to be tremendous for community building, and this is just tremendous for the Robinhood app in general. Robinhood is super strong right now as a company, and they're constantly gaining more customers. And now with all the new tools that they have introduced, I believe that Robinhood, the stock, should just continue to rip, because the more customers that come onto the platform, the more money that Robinhood makes. And they recently just had their first ever $1 billion quarterly at the end of 2024. And this year they have announced so much. They are also becoming a true fintech brand later this fall. I can't say enough great things about Robinhood. We were talking about Robinhood all the way back at $35. The growth has been tremendous in this company, and it should continue. So we have already hit $120 in Robinhood. My next bullish price target on this play is now at $135. I do believe that this acceleration will continue, because this is a blue chip company right here. They also did just have their big S&P inclusion, so a lot more institutional money is going to be flowing into Robinhood. And we haven't even seen how the tokenized assets are going to affect Robinhood yet. And so much in the pipeline for Robinhood, so much innovation. And talking about innovation, well, we are going to see a new Mag 7 index fund with 3 other plays, AMD and Palantir along the Mag 7, and one other. This was announced by SIBO at the Robinhood event either yesterday or earlier today. Again, it's a 2-day event, so I've been watching it as we go, but this is massive, putting the Mag 7 and Palantir and AMD and one other stock into a new index fund. So all those companies that are already high flying and make a great return on investment should continue to make even greater return on investment with all the institutional money that is going to continue to be added with this new index. And just talking about great ROI, just like we were talking about Oracle double leverage, we also have Robin, ROBN, which is also a double leverage play on Robinhood. And so this play has also been ripping again. When Robinhood goes up by 1%, this goes up by 2%. So if you are a fan of leverage, this is another great play to look at. Double leverage plays are amazing, like with what we saw in Oracle today at one point being up by 80%. So I do have some ROBN. I also have a lot of other double leveraged plays. So if you are investing or short-term trading and you want to get into these double leveraged plays, it is a great idea to make even greater returns. A lot of them were just introduced in the earlier part of this year. Leveraged opportunities have always been available, but never this readily available. So for myself, I have ROBN. I also have CONL, which is Coinbase double leveraged, PLTU, which is Palantir double leveraged, HIMS, with a Z, which is also double leveraged. And all these opportunities have been providing great ROI. It's just insane what is possible, and it's just insane what we're going to see in the markets for the years going forward, especially for Robinhood investors with everything that was just introduced. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how retail consumes this and see what strategies are built or what type of communities are built within the Robinhood app. And so now talking about financial news and how financial news always changes, that's going to bring us into our last stock, which is Alt5 Sigma Group. And Eric Trump, we have been talking about this company because they added him to the board, but he has now quietly been removed from the board. So the big deal that Alt5 Sigma Group and World Liberty Financial is still in place, but there were some concerns with the Security and Exchange Commission with Eric Trump joining the board. So he has been removed from the board, but this doesn't make me any less bullish on this company. With Oracle and with Robinhood, those are basically guaranteed blue chip companies that should continue to perform well over the next 5 to 10 years. With Alt5 Sigma Group, it's a little unpredictable what may happen. This company right now has a market value of just 480 million. But what I love about this company is that exactly they have a low market cap and a shares outstanding amount at just 21 million. And so right now, with such a low market cap, if this company gets any great news, we could see a serious rip up in Alt5 Sigma Group, as we have been seeing in the markets on these top moving stocks. And so again, when these plays that are low dollar amounts and have big news or big catalysts behind them, when they start to get catch volume, this is when these companies could 2x, 3x, 10x. Hell, yesterday we saw 20x at one point. And so even though Eric Trump is no longer on the board of Alt 5 Sigma Group, I am still very bullish on this company. And I think that this is a positive, because if there is any dilution in Alt 5 Sigma Group, where, well, Eric Trump can't take advantage of this by getting a big payout from the company, giving himself a bonus. He's either going to have to see the returns with Alt 5 Sigma Group or World Liberty Financial. So again, these two just recently made a deal, and this is huge because this is Trump's ecosystem that was created right when he was getting into office. And in general, we are pushing into the mass adoption into cryptocurrency. And so a lot of these crypto plays lately have been seeing a ton of volume and momentum. I think that this could definitely happen in this play, but first we are going to have to buck out of this downtrend that we have been seeing. So in the short term, we are seeing some negative movements in Alt 5 Sigma Group. It has fallen under the 200-day moving average, got rejected twice by this descending level of resistance, and right now is sitting at this support. So hopefully we do see another bounce, maybe back to this resistance, and hopefully beyond. Again, this is a risk asset, so with the Federal Reserve cutting on the 17th, this could be huge for Alt 5 Sigma Group, especially with their massive holdings of the WLFI token. So with that, we are in a downtrend, but I'm not too concerned about the short, small-term movements, because again, I am looking at this play because of the small market cap, the low shares outstanding, and then how they are working with the Trump family. So I think at any time a big catalyst could come out for Alt 5 Sigma Group, and we could see a massive day within this company. But as always, proceed with caution. The other two plays, Robinhood or Oracle, I would recommend to anybody who's not even in the markets, anybody who just wants to invest once and look away. Those plays are perfect. One day, I do believe that Robinhood will be $200, and with Oracle, I do believe some of the crazy momentum may really just be beginning. But with Alt 5 Sigma, it could go either way. But with that, I got some chips on the table, because these small market cap companies could do some crazy things. But I would be curious to hear what everyone else thinks in the comments section below. So please drop a comment. Please let me know of what you think going into tomorrow's markets. If you are fearful or optimistic, I always love to hear from you guys. Also, please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thank you all so much as always, and I will see you in the next daily talk of stock.